welcome to another edition of Long Beach Treasures. I'm your host, Harvey Keller. Today we're up here in Bixby Knolls and we're going to be taking a tour of the Historical Society's new headquarters. So if you'll come with me, we'll go on in and we'll get started. And joining me now is the president of the Historical Society, a very familiar face, Evan Browdy.
Hi Harvey, how are you?
Thanks for joining me.
We're delighted to be here.
Tell us about your building.
Well, this building is a dream sort of come true. It's been a number of years in coming. We worked with the city, we worked with individuals, and Councilwoman Ray Gavlich helped find the building for us, and we managed to put it together so that we now have a building that some of us never expected to happen. It's a large, as you will see in your tour, you'll see it has some great space for our exhibits, and it'll be a wonderful future home. I mean, it's a home now, but it'll be wonderful future exhibits that will come to us.
And finally, a permanent home.
And finally, a permanent home. That's a great thing. You know, I have to tell you that, you know, it's obviously we're very happy that the city was able to work with us and to get this building together. But, you know, it's not just the city, it's not just the councilwoman, but it's the volunteers, it's the people who give money and who support the cause of bringing history alive in Long Beach. And, you know, just for instance, and you will see in a little while when you take a look at the sign, our new signage outside, there were two fabulous people who had just came to an event about a year ago, Carl Evans and Wanda Sims, and they really wanted to make a statement about how important the history of Long Beach is to them. And so they donated the sign, and that's an expensive sign. But the reality is that it helps, it's very unique sign, and it stands out, and people will be able to say, that's, you know, that's where our Historical Society of Long Beach resides.
What about membership?
Membership, we continue to grow. The membership is very important to us because, you know, obviously the larger the membership, the more we can expand our programming and get out there to make sure that everybody understands the importance of the history of Long Beach. We hope to have a number of exhibits that they'll have a chance to see. I think we're going to start off with North Long Beach, some of the specialty of this area where we're residing in from now on.
Very appropriate.
Yes, it is. It is very appropriate. I will also mention that starting in December, we will be open on Fridays from 9 to 5 for the public to come in and do research, to observe, to enjoy our history. And after the new year, we'll start opening a greater amount of hours.
You're expanding your hours of operation, aren't you?
Yes, we are. There's going to be, I can't tell you exactly all the hours yet because we're trying to work out the specific schedule, but we'll be open most every day.
Well, when you were down at the Security National Bank building, why, it was sort of inconvenient for people to come to do research and for people just to drop in.
Yes, it was. And unfortunately, we had hoped to be in our new building a couple of years ago. And it wasn't this one. It was going to be a building that was being built downtown. That didn't work out the way we had hoped, but this turns out to be a very good solution to our long-term home.
It's quite a large facility, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And as you will see, we have two major galleries on this level. We have an upstairs where we have some offices. We have some additional storage facilities on this floor as well. And then we have this very large basement that you might say is hermetically sealed, and it has something to do with the history of this building. This used to be a furrier many years ago, and I think, as I understand it, of course, the furs had to be protected from potential theft, and so they were kept in a vault downstairs, which we'll see. And the fact is that I think other people who had furs used to keep them here, and so they had to be, again, protected. So that's why they were kept under lock and key, and it was in a controlled, climate-controlled room, and that is perfect for the kinds of things that we have to maintain a special climate for.
So it sounds like everything's coming together.
Oh, yes, it is, and it's people like yourself and other volunteers and people who are active on the board, and we have an extremely active board. We just recently had a cemetery tour, which was our 12th annual cemetery tour. We had hundreds and hundreds of people come to attend it, but what was really nice was to see all the volunteers, the people who put it together, who worked without pay because of their love of this organization, and they came and spent the time and energy, and they were a little tired after it was all done, but we really enjoyed it. And thanks to you playing Mr. Wilmore, the history of our city comes to life even more.
I know the script by now.
I suspect you do.
All right, I think we're going to call Julie in and have her take us on a tour, and stick around. We might have some more questions for you.
Absolutely, I'd be delighted to be here.
All right. Julie, let me introduce Julie Bartolotto. She's the executive director here at the Historical Society. This is her new home away from home, and she's going to take us on a tour and show us the facility.
Great. Thanks for coming.
Well, it's a pleasure.
We're standing in what we call the North Gallery, and it's the larger of the two galleries. We have two galleries that total 2,400 square feet of exhibition space. And in here in March, we're pleased to announce that we'll be hosting a Smithsonian exhibition entitled The Way We Worked. So let's now go into the South Gallery.
All right. The walls are so nice and white. What a great place to have an exhibit.
Yes, yeah. And there's great lighting that's been added in this room. This is the South Gallery.
Is that a movable wall?
Yes, there are two movable walls there, and that really makes the space much more flexible. So we can do different exhibitions and make research center when needed, and
So you could actually
variety of
have two
things.
exhibits going on at the same time.
definitely.
One in each gallery.
Yes.
Do you have any other exhibits planned?
We are working on an architecture exhibition for summer '08.
Long Beach Architects?
Long Beach architects, architects such as Joseph Roberts, Palmer
Schilling and
Power. Not Schilling and Schilling. We're going to focus on 4 architects that we have collections for. So Palmer Power, Jess Jones, Richard Poper, who's just closing his office. He and Phyllis, his wife, are the donors of some of this material. But Joseph Roberts, we've received several contributions over the years from a variety of different sources about his work in Long Beach.
So where are we going now?
So now we'll go to the archive, where we store the historical materials.
And that is which way?
That is this way.
Oh, okay. I'll follow you. This is really a huge facility.
It's 7,000 square feet. This is the archive where most of the historical materials are stored. These boxes along this wall are mostly contain documents. They also contain artifacts, scrapbooks, ledgers, many different things, maps, map books.
Is the whole building hermetically controlled?
This
If that's
is
the correct term.
this is a temperature and humidity controlled room, as is the vault and
Now,
the gallery.
If someone comes to do research, is this the research room?
No, this is not the research room. Researchers will be at a research table in the gallery, and staff or volunteers who are helping that researcher will come back here to retrieve materials.
That must have been quite a job moving all of this from
It sure
one
was.
place to another.
It sure was. And one of the amazing things is that almost all of what you'll see here today was on the 12th floor at the security building in a suite of offices. So
Wow.
that was also amazing. Behind you, Harvey, are filing cabinets full of full of photographs and negatives from Long Beach's past. Most of our photographs came from the work of
Did I read
commercial.
out, don't you have over 30,000 photographs?
We do. Most of our collection came from Lawrence Inman and the Winstead brothers, who were commercial photographers who worked mostly 20s through the 40s. We also have a great collection of really early images from Charles Doherty. Those are mostly on glass plate negatives. Charles Doherty is the father of Earl Doherty,
Oh, the aviator?
the aviator.
Let's go on and see what else you got in store for us.
Okay. We're going to walk through a room of offices and down to the vault.
And this is fireproof?
This is a concrete vault. This was where they stored the furs in 1950 when the building was built. And from our research, we know the fur store was here at least through 69, and we're not sure how much later than that. So if you come in here and down the stairs.
All right, I'll just follow you on down. You're going to lose weight going up and down the stairs all the time. Oh, wow, this is bigger and bigger.
Yes, it is.
Now, is this where you store your important documents and stuff?
Well, this is where we store other materials. What we did is we prioritized that what we use the most, we would keep on the ground floor, and the large items that would be difficult for us to manage on the stairs are on the ground floor.
No, this is fireproof.
This is concrete, yes. Yes.
And it's comfortable down here. It's not warm, it's not cold, it's just comfortable.
Yeah. It's a good, really good situation for storing historical materials. And in here, you can see things like our collection of city manager files. So these were the files of Wyndham while he was city manager, 1922 to 1926. And here we have a file that's entitled Appointments, and a variety of documents related to appointments.
So you can go back and check who was in what position on what date and appointed by whom.
Yes, possibly. Here's some early city letterhead, 1925 letter from a chief engineer. So this is an outstanding collection that we have.
That's basically a fairly new collection that you got, is it not?
Yes, it's something that we received in 99, which isn't so new
Oh,
anymore.
was it that long ago?
And you can see these are the original boxes. We received 75 boxes like this full of documents from the city manager files. And they were all of the documents that we were just looking at used to be in boxes like this and in file folders like this that are falling apart. And so we have interns and volunteers who are working on cataloging them and transferring them from the old boxes into new archival boxes for long-term preservation.
And I believe you have a second story here also?
We do. We have an upstairs as well.
Before we go, where did you get the model of the Pacific Coast Club?
We got the model from basically the city of Long Beach when Ferdinand Martel, who built a variety of these models, passed away. The city ended up storing them in the breakers in a storeroom on the level where our location used to be. And the city chose some that they wanted to hold on to. Some were given to Bernard Rosenson, the owner of the Breakers building, and then some of the models were given to us. And the model that we're looking at right now is one of the Pacific Coast Club.
Do you know whatever happened to the model city that he built that used to be in the...
It was in the Breakers the last time that I saw it.
Because that would be, that's truly a treasure. All right, where are we going now?
We'll go to the offices on the 3rd floor, or on the 2nd floor.
Now, what's up here, Julie?
Up here is a small kitchen, which is great for programs, and a space that will become a meeting space and work area and lunchroom. So right now we have the leftovers of our cemetery tour up here that you can see. And then also up here is a restroom and my office, which we
This-
can look at. It has lovely skylights
This will be a nice place to do prep for,
for programs.
Yes.
Absolutely, yes. Yes.
and this is the main office here, huh?
Yes, and it's a great space where we can have small meetings and larger meetings out in the kitchen or even larger meetings in the gallery. So.
A little more spacious in your office in the Security Bank building.
It's a lot different than 5 cubes in one room this size.
As we came by, I noticed the bathroom. It looks like it's big enough that you could have a small dance in there.
It's a very large restroom, yes.
Okay.
It was as is. We did virtually no work to the upstairs.
And you were going to go show us something else. What was it?
Yes, I think we should go look at the freezer where we store our nitrate negatives because I think that's one of the more interesting things about what we have.
We're on our way. Let's
Great.
go. Okay, what are we going to see again?
We're going to see our collection of nitrate negatives, which were negatives made before the 1930s. And these negatives are backed on nitrate film, which is somewhat unstable. And we invested, with the help of the Boeing Employees Community Fund, in this freezer probably about 10 years ago, and this freezer system. So in each one of these boxes is a desiccant, which controls the humidity within the box. And then there are negatives that are usually 8 by 10 size negatives, so like a whole sheet of paper, a single negative. And they have they create these amazing images because there's so much detail in the negatives.
Now they're frozen?
And so this is to keep their temperature down, and then within the box, it controls the humidity. So if we find that we need a negative out of one of these boxes, we take it out and we let it climatize to room temperature, and then the next day we can open the box and look at the negatives.
Wow. And there looks like there's quite a few in there.
There are, and there are actually more than we have freezer space for, so eventually we need another freezer to continue the preservation of our nitrate negative collection.
So if there are any appliance dealers out there watching us and they want to make a contribution to the Historical Society, a freezer would work well?
A freezer would be excellent, thank you. And we won't put any ice cream in it.
Okay. Julie, tell me about some of the programs you're going to have coming up, or what you do.
Well, we just finished our biggest program of the year, the cemetery tour. We're in preparations, obviously, to do a small exhibition on North Long Beach for our opening and set up our research center. So since we have such a small staff and limited resources, we can only do certain things only so many things at a time, but we are also planning for the Smithsonian exhibition.
Which will be a major exhibition.
A major exhibition that will take the entire 2 galleries. That's a partnership with the Arts Council for Long Beach. We're really pleased to be partnering with them on this. And it will actually open Smithsonian Week, which is one of the Arts Council's major projects. So we're excited to be involved with that. In addition, we are doing programming related to work in Long Beach, and we have a project called Long Beach Works, and we will be working with students and club members from the local Boys and Girls Club who will interview people about their work experiences in Long Beach, and we'll try to get very typical Long Beach stories, maybe oil workers.
Will that be something like Tell Me Your Story?
Yes, it's a variation of Tell Me Your Story, yes. So the students will interview people, get these stories, work with historians and actors, and produce short little performances that tell about this, that portray the story. And then we'll host those here in the gallery, maybe on some First Fridays and maybe at some of the street fair events that happen here in Bixby Knolls. So that's our big program coming up, and we're fortunate to have funding from Los Angeles County Supervisor Don Knabe for that project, and the California Council for the Humanities, and additionally a small grant from the Arts Council for Long Beach.
Well, Julie, I'm glad you finally have a permanent home.
Thank you.
It's large, and I think people are going to be quite impressed when they see some of the exhibits that you'll be putting on in the next few months.
Yes, and we actually need to say we because we're fortunate to have Harvey, you as a board member for quite a few years, and so it doesn't happen in a vacuum.
Always a pleasure. Julie, thank you.
Thank you, Harvey.
Evan, thank you for...
You're welcome.
Mr. President.
Well, no, I'm delighted you could come and see the start of something that's going to be a great history here in the Historical Society of Long Beach's new headquarters.
I think people are going to be impressed when they see the size of the facility.
Yes, but you know, it will start to shrink as we get more and more documents and we bring in some more of our, we still have some things that are still stored we haven't had a chance to bring over yet.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work, and thanks for letting me stop by.
Thanks for coming.
And don't go away, we'll be right back with more Long Beach Treasures.
Hello everyone! Well, it's been a while since my last post. There we go. I got a new job and my new boss had me pick up some DVDs. He had them duplicated at some place called Avid in Long Beach. Oh, and Octavio, the guy at Avid that gave me the DVDs, is really cute.
Come to Avid in Long Beach for all your video editing and rental needs. And say hi to Octavio.
Founded in 1976, Polly's Gourmet Coffee is Southern California's most complete gourmet coffee store. Polly's has the best tasting coffee, freshly roasted every day right in the store, plus a wide selection of teas, an in-house bakery, espresso bar, patio dining, and more. We also offer Wi-Fi, free internet access for all of our customers. Our nationwide clientele agree when it comes to coffee, there's only one name to remember, Polly's, 4606 East 2nd Street, welcoming you into Belmont Shore.
Everybody knows My Mailboxes, etc. is the best place to pack and ship. But Brown said, let's take it to the next level. We're becoming the UPS store with new low rates direct from UPS and the same great people to help with packing, copying, and mailbox services. New sign, new shirt. The shorts will be here soon.
New low rates, same great service. Call 1-800-PICK-UPS.
Food's great. I can see 11 TVs from where I'm sitting. Great atmosphere, good service. Excellent place to come watch a game.
Lots of good sports, great television.
Football, baseball, and HD down at Smooth Sports Grill.
There's actually a nightclub Friday nights and Saturday nights. Fantastic DJ. We love coming to Smooth. Great food. Got televisions everywhere. Nice place.
All right, here we are in one of the Historical Society's neighbors. It's called Chroma Glass Designs. And this is Krista. I guess you own the place? Well, Krista, thanks for letting me stop by. I have a few questions for you.
All right.
I think you were one of the movers and shakers of First Fridays up here in Bixby Knolls?
Yes.
What is First Fridays?
First Fridays is a monthly art event that takes place inside local businesses in the Bixby Knolls area, and the focus is to give the local artists a place to show their work, bring people to businesses in Bixby Knolls, and give the community something to do on a Friday night. And we typically, the businesses will keep later hours, staying open till roughly around 10 o'clock, most of them.
Well, that was my question. When you said for artists to display their work, my question was going to be, what about the other businesses? Do they participate also?
Yes, the businesses that aren't necessarily showing any artist work, a few of them are keeping later hours also. So it is a lot of lights on, a lot of people moving up and down the street, and you know.
And how far does this, up in Bixby Knolls, how many blocks?
The bulk of it is between Bixby and Burlinghall, and then we're picking up a few more businesses south of Bixby. And primarily it's businesses get involved when they kind of figure out how they can fit First Fridays into their business, and how, and you know, what makes it work in their structure.
It seems like there's a lot of more activity up here in Bixby Knolls, that you're expanding, that you're becoming a closer knit community, more businesses are moving in. Why is this?
I think, there's been a huge shift in, people moving into the area and, a renewed interest in the area. And, I live in Cal Heights, and, when I decided to open a business, I wanted it to be in the area in which I live. So I wanted to, hopefully create a strip of my section of town that has something that I can walk to and places to go and things to do that I don't have to get in the car to do.
You're in a great spot because you're here and the theater is next door,
Yeah.
and then the Historical Society, and you have the Four Olives down a couple more doors. Great businesses.
Yeah. We're slowly seeing, a little more activity on the street.
And your business here is making stained glass.
We are the only stained glass studio and retail store in the city of Long Beach. We primarily do commission pieces as well as repairs. So anyone that has a broken stained glass window, this is generally where they end up. And we also sell supplies and teach classes for
Is
people
this hard
wanting
to
learn.
do?
It's not hard as much as it's a little
A lot of patience.
patience and discipline in really trying to get it figured out.
I love stained glass. I think it's so beautiful. You do commissions?
Yes, this is a commission piece for a home with a very specific architecture, a Victorian home, and so we wanted to have a window that goes into the home that fits the time period of the home.
Do you also make your own designs?
I do. Often a client will come in and they won't have any idea as to what they want, and just by talking to them, I'll get a feel for what their likes and dislikes are and what the architecture of the house is, and then I'll draw around. I'll draw a design that fits around all of that.
By the way, going back to Bixby Knolls, are there any other programs that the Bixby Knolls Business Association puts on up here? Don't you have a snow day?
There's snow in Bixby. It's the first Sunday in December, so it'll be December 2nd this year. And we also have the dragster show and car show in July every year.
Krista, I want to thank you for letting me stop by and get some information about Bixby Knolls and your First Fridays, and I love your work here.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And that's our show for this time. And this ends our 8th year of doing Long Beach Treasures. So we thank you for your support. We thank you for watching. And we hope that you all have a very happy holiday season. So come back and join us next year for more Long Beach Treasures.